Hello, welcome to Miranda Camille Yoga. Today I have a nice gentle little half an hour flow for you. We're going to be just thinking about decompressing the spine, mobilizing the hips, just slowing things down. I work in a restaurant and I've been on my feet, busy running around for the last few days. And prior to that, I was doing quite a bit of training. So my body has been feeling it. So what I've been craving is just something nice and slow, gentle. So here it is for you. I'm going to share it with you. What you'll need is a block. If you don't have a block, grab yourself a cushion or a blanket or a towel, something you can roll up to make something that resembles a block. So let's get into it. We're going to start in a seat today. So just making your way onto your mat. You can start with the legs crossed. If that's not super comfy, elevating the hips with a block, I'll just turn on the side to show you, can be really helpful. Just being able to give the pelvis a little bit more of a tilt. Your knees can rest on the ground and then your hips are a little bit higher. So that's an option there for you. Another option is to come into a cross-legged seat if that feels better. So just finding what works for you. I'm going to take the block option. And we're just going to start to arrive. So bringing the hands to the knees. I like to turn the palms down if I feel like I need to kind of bring it down, calm and settle the energy. Otherwise, palms up towards the sky to uplift, to energize, to receive. So then just closing over your eyes and just letting this first moment, as always, be about just arriving. And just start to feel as your sitting bones rest heavily on the earth beneath you. And then think about elongating your spine right from the base all the way up through to the crown of the head. So the crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. We bring an ever so slight tuck of the chin to find some more space for the backside of the neck. And then we're going to squeeze shoulders to ears and then just exhale as you let them slide down the back. And let's take 3 breaths together to begin. So breathing through your nose, send that breath first to the belly. Let the belly grow and expand, and then we just find stillness at the top of the breath. Let there be a pause, a moment of nothingness, and then open your mouth and let the breath out. Breathing through the nose again, send it to the belly. This time let it travel higher. Feel the rib cage start to expand and then pause. And then open mouth. Maybe you stick your tongue out. One more breathing to belly, to ribs. Send the breath all the way into your chest. Feel your collarbones lift. Pause. And then when you're ready, sigh that breath away. Just letting your day, your morning, your week go on that breath. Letting yourself land in this moment. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, but be here with self. Good, we're going to crack the eyes open, and then as you breathe in, we're going to take the hands up and overhead. Reach really nice and tall. Take the gaze towards the fingers. Then as you exhale, take the left hand down to the earth. The right hand reaches up and over. See if you can look under that top armpit. And we're thinking about spinning chest to sun, pulling that top shoulder behind. Take one more breath. And then breathing in, we'll come back to center, hands reach high. Exhale, the right hand comes down, the left hand reaches up and over. Spin, chest open, look towards the sky. Good, inhale, come back into center. Exhale, release your hands by your sides. I'm gonna remove the block now. You can keep it there if it's feeling good. As you inhale, hands come overhead. As you exhale, we're gonna twist to the left. Inhale, sit nice and tall, and then exhale, just soften in. Let the gaze move past that left shoulder. Breathing yourself back into center, hands overhead. And then exhaling over to the right side. Finding space with each breath in, softening with each breath out. Good. Inhale, come back into center. Exhale, release your hands to the sides. We're going to take the right ear down to the right shoulder and take the right hand and place it on top of the head. And now with this left hand, we're going to reach it out long. The thumb faces up towards the sky, and then start to peel that thumb back behind you. So you're sending the palm of the hand forwards. Then you can just take a little rock here with that left arm. So we're just starting to get a little bit of a nerve stretch across that left side, down the neck and into the arm. Good, take one more breath. Nice, and then come back into center, other side. So when we do these nerve stretches, nerve flosses, thumb reaches back. We don't want to have this extreme sensation. So you're only looking for about maybe 50%. Nice and gentle. Should be a little bit of sensation, it shouldn't be painful. Good, and then come back into center. Right cheek down to the right shoulder again, and now we're just gonna roll nice and slow, chin to chest, left ear to the left shoulder. Now look up to the sun as the back of your skull rolls across the tops of your shoulders. One more in that direction. And then reversing that circle. Send the head in the opposite direction. Nice and slow and conscious. Be aware of the sensations that you're experiencing. Be with what's happening in your body right now. Good. Coming back up into center. Nice. From there, we're going to come up to standing, making your way onto your feet. And then as you inhale, reach your hands overhead, grow nice and tall. We're coming into our ragdoll. So as you exhale, fold yourself forwards. Bend your knees a lot here so that your belly can make contact with your thighs. And we're just going to hang here. Let the head be really nice and heavy. You can catch opposite elbows. You can take a little sway here from side to side. You can yes and no through your head and your neck. Just let the shoulders move towards the ears. Let the spine round. Breathe deeply. Take one more breath. Good. Stay as you are. Release your hands to the mat. Take a halfway lift, looking in front of you. And then exhale, fold forwards. We're going to plant the right hand down into the mat. Left hand reaches up towards the sky. So I'm bending into my right knee and I'm lengthening through my left leg so that I can get a little more rotation in the spine, looking up towards that top hand. From there, I really like to reach the top hand over the head and think about pulling that left hip back in space. So you're getting this really nice stretch, the whole length of that left side body into the QL muscle. Take one more breath here. And then exhale that hand to the mat, other side. Right hand to the sky. Bend the left knee and straighten the right leg. Take the gaze up to those top fingers. From there, we're going to reach that right hand up and overhead. Pull the right hip back in space. Good, and then exhale, release that hand down to the mat. We're gonna get heavy again, gently bend the knees, let the arms and the head hang, and then just slowly start to round up. So we're just piecing the spine on top of each other, one vertebrae at a time. The last thing to arrive is the head, and then we're gonna move the hands back overhead. Find a pistol grip here at the top. And now step your right foot behind the left. Sink the weight over to that left side. Look under that right armpit again. Good. Inhale, step the feet back together. Other side. Left foot steps behind the right, hinge over to the right side. Good. Inhale, come back into center. Bring the hands to the hips. Take the feet to be about hip distance apart. We're soft in the knees here. We're just going to draw some circles with the hips. You might feel a little silly. You might think you look a little silly, and that's okay. Doing silly things is often necessary and fun, I think. And then reverse the circles in the other direction. Like you're stirring a pot with your hips. Just really starting to feel that fluidity into the hip sockets. Beautiful. And then coming back into center. Inhale your hands high. Exhale, fold forwards like a swan dive down. You're going to shuffle your feet further apart. Turn the toes out and the heels in so you can come down into a squat. Malasana. When you arrive in your squat, take a little sway of the hips. If this is challenging for you, if it's tricky to bring your heels all the way to the mat, you find you're up here, you could put your heels on blocks. You could play with rolling the edges of your mat up to give you a little more height. So just some things there for you to play with. So from your squat, let's take a little swivel through the hips. You can be picking up the toes and the heels. Good. And then we're going to come to stillness. Let your sitting bones sit low. Bring your hands to your heart. Lift your chest. Take your right hand out wide, your left hand up towards the sky. And then inhale, come back into center. On the other side, left hand out wide, right hand to the sky. Inhale, come back into center. Good, sit tall. Reach your hands forwards now and round your spine a lot. Chin into chest. We're going to press the sitting bones up to the sky and then exhale, sit back down. 2 more, stand tall. Exhale down. 1 more. Good, exhale back down. Bring your hands behind yourself now so that you can come to a seat, and we're going to take a butterfly shape. So bringing the soles of the feet together, the knees out wide. Again, like before, you could be sitting on your block just to give yourself a little more space to fold forwards. We're going to take hold of the feet. As you inhale, sit up nice and tall. Then as you exhale, start to hinge at the hips. And we're thinking about leading with the heart. So we're pulling the chest over the toes to keep some length through the spine just for this first part. Keeping your chest proud. If you have the room there, you might be using your elbows against your legs to press them a little further down. We'll just take 1 more breath in that shape there. And then from there, we're going to round the spine. Drop the head down towards the toes. And then just let everything drape forwards. Let your shoulders round. Just releasing as you rest over the legs. Good, 1 more breath here. And then make your way back up to a seat. And I'm just going to get rid of that block for the moment. From there, you're going to come all the way down to your back. Take both of your knees into your chest and give them a great big squeeze. And then as you breathe in, peel your head, neck, and shoulders from the mat like you want to kiss your knees. Exhale, lower down. Take 1 more. Inhale, squeeze in. Exhale, lower down. Keep your hands on top of your knees. We're just going to start to draw some great big circles here through the hips. Sending them over to the right, away from the body, to the left, and then back in. A couple more like that. And then reverse those circles. Send the knees in the opposite direction. Good. From there, come back to center to stillness. Keep the right knee hugged in as you take the left leg out long. We're going to pick the hips up, shuffle them over to the right side of the mat, and then roll to your left. Reach your right arm out nice and long. And this left hand can act like a little bit of a weight onto that top knee. If that top knee doesn't quite come all the way down to the ground, you can put it on a block. And now with this right outstretched hand, arm, you're gonna sweep it down along the length of the mat, reach it past your body, and you're just drawing a nice big circle through that shoulder. Around and around. Let's go one more. And then reverse. In yoga, we seem to like the number 3. Seems to be the magic number, but if you want more, please do more. Good, and then resting that right arm down. We'll just take a couple more breaths here in this shape. Just feeling that space you're creating through the spine in the lower back. Letting your belly be nice and soft. Good. And then we're going to come back to center and just switching sides. So I'm just going to move the block to the other side of the mat. Take the left knee to the chest. Give it a nice big squeeze in. And like before, pick the hips up, move them to the left side so you've got a little more space before you roll to the right. You can reach that left arm out nice and long. Maybe following with the gaze if the neck's okay to do so. Maybe keeping the gaze above you. Just softening in here, letting your body be heavy, letting it be held. And let's draw those great big circles with that left arm. 3 in each direction. Just mobilizing, getting some blood moving to our muscles, getting some synovial fluid moving through our joints. Good, and then settling in here. And as you arrive in these moments of pause, just allowing yourself to be with what is. Noticing the sensations that you feel in your body. Observing the thoughts in your mind. Just starting to watch them come, watch them go, just like images do on a movie screen. And notice how you're feeling in your heart. What emotions maybe are coming up. We'll just take one more breath here. And then we're going to come to meet back in center. Take your legs out long. Take your arms over your head. I'm a little bit crooked on the mat. Take a great big delicious stretch. And then I'm just going to slide myself down my mat so I stay in the screen. We're going to take an inversion. So we're going to take our legs high. So the first option is waterfall, where we place the block under our lower back, under the sacrum, that little bony part of the lower back. We lift the legs to the sky and we just rest here. And this is a really beautiful and nourishing shape to come into, especially at the end of a big day. If you've been on your feet all day, just allowing all of the fluid and energy to drain from the legs. It's also a really nice restorative pose to do before you go to bed. So if you have a wall, you can rest your legs upon before you go to bed at night. It just really helps to calm and soothe the nervous system. So this is our waterfall shape, and maybe this is fantastic and you're going to stay here. Another option is to come into shoulder stand. I'm going to get rid of the block to do that, rearrange my hair a little bit. And then for our shoulder stand, we're just going to take the knees to the face, catch the lower back, kind of walk the shoulder blades towards one another, and then take the legs to the sky. So it's important to remember that this is a shoulder stand, not a neck stand. So I'm letting the pressure of my body, the weight of my body, be held by my shoulder blades, the tops of the scapula, and my upper arms. So I'm not pushing myself so high that I'm weighting down on my neck. And then I'm just going to let my legs be really heavy here. I'm not worried too much about whether I'm in a straight line. And then it can be nice to play around here with some movement. You can take your legs out wide. Just be a little bit curious, a little bit explorative, maybe a wrap of the legs. And so that is our shoulder stand, which again is another place that you might like to hang out a little longer. If you have the space and the range there, plow pose, halasana, is the next on the menu, where we take our feet past our head. So again, you could use your block and place it underneath your feet. If you have a dear friend with you, they might be able to help you do that. So that can be nice just to let your feet rest down. And in your halasana, you can play with tucking the toes under, finding a bit more length and space along the backside of your legs. Or you can play with putting the tops of the feet down and kind of pointing the toes. You get a nice little stretch there through the tops of the ankles. And then sometimes it's nice to let the heels drop over to one side and then the other. Just noticing how that changes the sensations along the legs and up the back. Good. Staying in your inversion for a few more breaths. This is one of my absolute favorite shapes. And I could stay here, probably not all day, but for quite some time. But if you've had enough, make your way out. And as you come out, just make it slow. Start by catching your lower back and just slowly rolling yourself back down, piecing the spine one at a time. Oof. And then when you come back to your back, just be still for a moment. Just notice the sensations through your legs and your lower back as your body rearranges itself. I get this really beautiful release through my QL muscles along my back. It just feels so good, so nourishing. And then from here, we're going to take a fish pose. So it's a counter pose for anything where you're kind of rounding through the neck. So we're going to start by finding this diamond shape with our hands, so index fingers and thumbs come together. And we're going to place that on our lower back, so on the sacrum, that bony part of your back. And then we're coming to recline onto our forearms. So walk your forearms, your elbows kind of in towards one another so that you can puff your chest up towards the sky. And then with control, gently lower your head behind you. And then you can just let the head hang there. Getting some extension through the neck, through the cervical spine. Hopefully you can still hear me okay through the microphone. It's a bit tricky to talk here in this shape. We're going to take a full breath in through the nose and then exhale out through the mouth. Twice more. One more. And then just being really mindful of your neck as you make your way out. If you don't have the neck strength to bring your head all the way up, you can just start to take the elbows out wider as you lower yourself down onto your back. So good. Knees come back into chest. We're going to take a rock and roll now up and down the spine. Just enjoying a little bit of a massage and some movement. One more. Good. And then coming all the way to a seat, I'm going to spin to face you again. And we're going to take the right leg underneath and the left leg over the top. So coming into a twist and also a little bit of a hip opener. So if this is too much, it's quite intense here on the right hip and into the piriformis, you can take that bottom leg out long, and that just kind of lessens the pressure on that side. So we're going to take the right hand up to the sky, breathe in as you sit really tall, and then as you exhale, twist towards that top leg. The left hand's going to walk behind, and then as I inhale, I sit a little taller. As I breathe out, I twist a little more deeply. Good. And then coming back into center. If you have your bottom leg bent, stay as you are, and we're just going to start to hinge the weight forwards over the legs. If you have that bottom leg straight, you can just bring the top leg kind of to that figure 4 shape and then hinge the weight forwards there. So not to worry too much about lengthening the spine. We're just really being heavy, being soft, sending our breath through our hips, just giving them a little moment to lengthen, to let go. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, come back into center and we'll switch sides. Left leg comes under the right. Find your option. So either both knees are bent or maybe you're straightening through that bottom leg. We're going to reach the left hand to the sky this time. Sit up nice and tall. And then as you breathe out, take your twist over to the right side. So on each breath in, we're sitting tall, finding space through the spine. And then each breath out, we're softening a little more deeply, gazing past that right shoulder. Allow the focus to be with the hips here. Just consciously reminding them to let go a little more. Good, take one more breath. And then breathing in, coming back through center. We're going to exhale our way forwards, hinging over the legs, bringing a little more pressure now into the hips. So as we practice yoga, we start to pay attention. We pay attention to our physical body. We start to get a better understanding of how we're feeling. Our proprioception grows. We get this better understanding of where we are in space. We also pay attention to our mind. And we start to become aware of our thoughts. We start to see the reoccurring thoughts. We start to notice the thoughts that we don't need. And it's through this practice of paying attention that we cultivate this awareness. And through this awareness, we get to choose. We get to choose if we want to keep those thoughts or if it's time to let them go. That's the real magic of yoga right there. Just take your last breath here. And then starting to sit yourself back into center. We're just going to release the legs out long for a moment, give them a little pedal. And then we're coming to our back for our final shape of the practice. Grab your block and place it behind the back of your heart. So you can choose how high the block is. You've got 3 different height settings there. So if you bring the block down behind the heart space, and then just let yourself recline over it completely. Take your legs out nice and wide. Take your arms out wide. And let your shoulders pull back towards the earth. So we're getting that counter shape through our shoulders to what we're often used to. We're so often slumped forwards in the shoulders whilst we're driving, whilst we're on our phone, whilst you're writing. Maybe you're an artist and you draw. Maybe you type on the computer. All of those things are rounding our shoulders forwards. So this right here is the most delicious counterbalance for that shape. So just settling in here for your shavasana. Let this be your time for yourself. That time when you turn inwards. Where you listen to and you feel your body. Where you observe your thoughts. Where you notice your heart, your emotions. And let yourself be reminded that there's no right or wrong. That whatever you find is completely perfect. That you are enough exactly as you are. But sometimes there are parts of ourselves that we don't even know about because we haven't sat with ourselves for long enough to experience them. Let yourself do that now. Shavasana.